Hello there, I'm Dean Curry. I'm president and founder of a newly launched free internet radio station called Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. Now, let me say that again. The name of the radio station is Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. Now, when you think of those words, there's reasons behind those four words, Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. And when you put them together, I had this idea. I've had these subsidiary companies for a while. I'm a personal trainer for exercise and health nut in giving podcasts on 10 radio stations in fitness. I also, on Live Well Now, I also have another subsidiary company. I own a big sports management company that has to do with motivational speaking, also podcasts under Live Well Now. And then I have a sports commentary and analysis from my years of working with athletes. I really love American football, and I give comments on analysis on injuries and recovery periods and people's capabilities, and it's a really deep insight to sports commentary, analysis, and strategy that people could use for their own enjoyment and their own analysis, or if they play in a league championship series in fantasy football, they could use that. But that's also under a different company name, and I had all these different company names, and I'm also a podcaster in fantasy football for sports commentary and analysis on 10 radio stations like iTunes, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, and the list goes on, all the top ones. And I realized that I have all my podcasts on all these radio stations, which people usually find one at a time, and whether it's advice on a diet, or it's advice on, setting up a fitness routine, or whether it's one of my favorites, which is living your dreams. As a motivational speaker and published author, I give people a step-by-step process to live their dreams, which is really great and fun. And then I give sports analysis and commentary on American football, and I give these in-depth analysis on recovery periods it takes for players, what players' capabilities are, and it's really a think outside the box analysis that I give, because I've worked with so many athletes through the years, and I understand people's capabilities. And I also understand recovery periods and injuries and who might be out, who might be coming back, just because I've dealt with that for so long. But what I realized is, I have about 3 websites I'm also a licensed massage therapist here in New York, and I have 3 YouTube channels for massage, for fantasy football and football analysis, for Living Well Now, and for health and fitness and motivation. And I have 3 websites for those, and I have 3 Facebook pages, and I have all these podcasts on all these wonderful iTunes, Google Play Music, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, iPodder, and the list goes on and on and on. And what I realized is I have a lot of my information kind of all over the place, in subsidiaries on 3 YouTube channels, 3 Facebook pages, business pages, 3 websites. And when people go on iTunes, Google Play Music, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, iPod, or whatever the case may be, they usually will search for something and they'll find one of my videos. If, let's say, they were looking for diet, they'll look for one of my videos, and they'll listen to the podcast and learn an easy way to sort of learn about dieting and stuff like that. And then someone else might say, I really need help with an exercise routine, and they'll go and they'll look for an exercise routine, and they'll find a nice video for that. Or someone really likes American football and sports commentary and analysis, and wants a really in-depth view on sports injuries, rehabilitation, sports capability. It's really different the way that we give analysis and strategy on American football. Being that I'm a personal trainer and licensed massage therapist, and I've worked with a lot of athletes and things of that nature, it gives me sort of like an inside, viewpoint on how to do things. And someone might look that up for, football analysis and strategy, and they'll find a podcast for that. And the same goes for my, websites and whatever the case may be. If someone's Googling those titles and they find one website, but I said to myself, wouldn't it be great, since I own a sports management company in an umbrella company with Rising Star Enterprises for Wellbeing, wouldn't it be great if people could just, since it's all related, people could just go to one spot and get advice on diet, get advice on nutrition, get advice on an exercise routine, get advice on living your dreams and, setting up a routine, get exercise videos, or talk about how, you set up an exercise video, or how you set up a diet, or how you go about living your dreams and chasing, your dreams. Or if someone wants analysis on or advice on massage and what types of massage do I get and what does each massage do, there's so many. And then someone really likes, understanding football analysis and sports athletes and wants advice on that, whether it be for championship league play and fantasy football. There's a lot of family leagues and corporate leagues now. It's a $50 billion business. They say it'll be $500 billion over the next 5 years. And football will be year-round because now they're starting a couple of other football leagues that are professional, and they're also running it into different countries like England and Mexico, and it's becoming a really gigantic big sport. But more than that, it's becoming a brotherhood sport where corporations are running these leagues, where employees play against each other, and now families of all ages. It's a way that family stays in touch and uses American football to play in these leagues against each other. I give a lot of analysis and strategy, and I've been running these leagues for years. It's sort of like a brotherhood and bringing people closer together and making a community. And I've been doing the same for the fitness community, the massage community, the nutrition community, the motivational speaking community, people that like self-help books on inspiration. And, what I realized is, my stuff is scattered everywhere, and wouldn't it be great if people could come to one spot? Wouldn't it be great if there was a place where people could get advice on absolutely everything from health, fitness, diet, massage, analysis on, sports athletes and commentary, and they could get like all these sort of things all in one spot. And that's when I came up with the idea, newly launched, to start my own internet radio station called Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. It's on live365.com. That's live365.com. And you go in and it's free, and you go in the search bar and you just kind of put in Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. And now you're probably asking, well, what's the up-tempo part? I get the sports, I get the, fitness, I get the radio part, but what's the up-tempo? Well, as a motivational speaker, but more as a personal trainer over the last 3 decades, and a former amateur bodybuilder and an aerobics instructor, I am constantly asked one question, where can I get really good workout music? And I was like, And I said, okay, you could go, on YouTube, which is great. YouTube's amazing. And, you can down, and they're like, yeah, but, a lot of times, some of the songs are good and some of the songs are not good. And they're kind of all over the place. Like it's one song for this, one song for that. There's no really mode, or there's no kind of tonality to the tracks that are being taken. There's just like one from a totally different genre and one from another, but there isn't some kind of connectivity. And some of the songs I like, some of the songs I don't like. Sometimes it's just 5 or 6 songs or 10 songs, on many different, channels, not just YouTube, like all over the place, and sometimes I want something longer. And so I start, and then people would ask me all the time, like, Dean, you're always playing these other people's tapes, and, that you buy in a store and stuff like that. Why don't, you being a motivational speaker and being, more importantly, a personal trainer, being an aerobics instructor for all these years, you should really know more than anybody what songs to pick that really motivate you, that really are great, since I don't know how many thousands of songs and CDs I've played in aerobics classes. But people would ask me this question. I started thinking to myself, I said, it is true. I wonder how many people make a series of tracks for workout songs that are actually have 3 decades of experience as an aerobics instructor that have basically used every single motivational, song out there over the years for their exercise classes or personal training classes, and has become somewhat of an expert at knowing which songs are the best, which songs motivate you the most. Because, these days when you go into a gym, you used to see people work out and they play music overhead. But now you don't get that in fitness gyms anymore. When you go to a fitness gym, everyone's got their little, phone hooked to their arm, and they all have headphones on. Every single person has headphones on, and they're listening to music. And, it got me thinking that I want to pick a bunch of tracks that I really like, that I think will motivate you, because I'm finding people more and more really love to work out to music. Now, there are people who always like to work out to music, but what I'm seeing in gyms is people used to just kind of listen to the elevator music above, and they wouldn't have headphones on, and now almost every person on a gym, whether on a treadmill or working out or whatever, all have headphones on, and they're all listening to music. So I wanted to create a place at Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio where during the day we're talking about health, fitness, we're talking about living your dreams, which I'll go into, we're talking about nutrition, in certain parts of the day during the football season, I'm breaking down analysis, like I'm really getting into players' capabilities, what they can't do based on their physical makeup, their rehabilitation based on injuries, who's probably going to be in and out, all these different angles and insights that you're just not going to get anywhere unless someone's been a personal trainer dealing with athletes for the better part of three decades. I basically wanted to create a place where during the day you had your sports analysis and commentary, and you had your health and fitness show where we talk about motivational speaking, living your dreams. We talk about diet and how to lose weight and do it in a way where you could still eat the foods you like, which I'm going to go into. And, it wouldn't be that much of a sacrifice because you're eating the food you like, but you could still lose weight. And I find ways to do that, or developing an exercise routine that's simple to do, and what you should try to do, and what's the best way to work out, and how many days a week, and massage, and how many types of massage are there, and which ones do what, so on and so forth. And so, I wanted to do that during the day so people could get information. But then towards the evening, I wanted to play just tracks of like up-tempo, really moving motivational songs, because a lot of people get motivated by music. They don't just get motivated by words or, great books. Like I wrote a book on life enhancement. Some people like self-help books and inspiration. Some people like knowledge that I give on health and well-being and fitness. But some people really, their true motivation is music. So I wanted to create a radio station, Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio, where we had all those talks and information during the day on fitness and living your dreams and sports analysis, because some people like sports. I like sports, and they like to watch football, and that's like their favorite sport in America, and they want great analysis on it, whether they use it for league championship play or just want to hear great in-depth analysis on players. Some people get really motivated by sports, so we have that during the day, but then at night, I wanted to have tracks like all night long that motivated people, that things people could listen to in the evening when they work out, or, maybe they could just, tape the tracks, the radio show, whatever the case, record it, and they could get music that motivates them, that moves them from someone 3 decades in the business, doing aerobics for 3 decades, knowing what motivates a class, knowing what songs people like the most, because they've told me through the years, it's not just what I think is the best, but I've heard from people, oh, you should play that again, that's a great song, oh, you should play that again. And it comes to me in numbers over the better part of 3 decades. I really became an expert at knowing what really moves people. Now, the tracks I play, I wanted to pick sort of a tone to it. So what I did is I wanted to first pick songs that people love, and are motivated by. And a lot of people are motivated by movies, especially movie classics like Chariots of Fire or Braveheart, or even movies that have great songs in it, like The Last of the Mohicans, which has a nice moving beat to it when you listen to it. And just, Rocky, 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 gonna fly now, getting all this, great music, but people really relate to movies. So when they not only hear the movie classics, music, they can actually remember the movie. That also motivates them. So, and when it transports you when you're working out, a lot of times you're going through these routines, you've done them a million times, you try to switch it up, but sometimes working out, you need a little boost. And to get motivated by music, up-tempo music that gets you going, and then get reminded of movies like Braveheart, and Rocky, and Chariots of Fire, Chariots of Fire, and you're just getting so motivated because you remember those movies and how inspiring Rocky was, and Chariots of Fire, and Braveheart, and Last of the Mohicans when he saves the girl, and so you get transported not just from your audio and listening, but you get transported from your vision of what that movie gave to you, and that's what carries you through workout. So I wanted to do a radio station that really got those movie classics in, but I didn't want that to be enough. One thing I always tell people, because they listen music in the 1990s and in the 2000s, people argue, which was the best, was it the 1980s, the 1970s, the 60s, the 90s, the 2000s? And one of my friends once told me it's all relative, but I've heard a lot of music at different things, and what I hear a lot from a lot of people, that the late 70s and 80s was truly an exceptional time for music. And you know what's funny? You'll be shocked that I actually hear it from millennials. More often than not, they're like, I listen to 80s music. I mean, that was just great. But what's really great about the 80s music is some of the Motown records, not just like Michael Jackson, we're talking like Boys to Men, Michael Jackson, even the Beastie Boys, and a couple of good songs, by the Backstreet Boys. And just like, when I say songs, I don't mean necessarily songs, oh, that's a good song. Songs that are good to work out to, songs that move. And, I remember that the disco era in the late 70s and 80s, they had the most amazing songs, whether it was Donna Summer or, Diana Ross, or even some of your rock bands, whether it's Duran Duran or, but, they just had great disco songs that were really moving. A lot of times the songs that are the best ones are the R&B, Motown, old disco, Run DMC, Walk This Way, things that has a great beat, and you have Michael Jackson songs with the ABC 1, 2, 3, and oh baby, give me one more time, and it's just like got a great beat to it. For working out, and you have these great. So I was like, you got to go with old school disco, R&B, Motown, because those songs tend to have the best beats for working out. Now let's say that's not really your genre. I understand that. But what really motivates people to work out is the beat, and those have really good beats to work out. So even if that's not your type of genre, it would still, motivate you to work out because it's got a really, really good beat, and it's good, clean music. They had to be, because it was a crossover time, and they had to make the music, R&B and the soul music, they're trying to apply it to many different audiences, and there's just a really good feel. A lot of different people from all different walks of life love this music. I love this music, especially because I love to work out and stuff like that. So it's just like truly, truly amazing. And then I wanted to pick some upbeat like rock songs, because there's a lot of people who love rock, but like upbeat rock songs, and there's a lot of good ones that are in movies like Vision Quest, and some of the movies I mentioned before, Braveheart, and some of the where some of the songs are like your classics, whether it's Twisted Sister, like they just used like certain songs, We're Not Gonna Take It, or songs in different, movies that were really upbeat songs. And, throwing in a little Britney Spears, and Paula Abdul, Straight Up Now Tell Me, it's maybe not everyone's favorite song, but it's got a great beat for working out. And, I just started thinking, I want to get some of these disco songs, some of these, upbeat, back in the 70s and 80s, things didn't always fall under a classification. Like some of the people that just were rock singers made songs that, actually started sounding like a little bit more Motown-ish, or a little bit more R&B. There's a little bit more soul. And, that's why, Run DMC and they join with a rock band and do a duet, making a song, because the rock song kind of sounded like a soulful song, and they did a duet together. And, there's songs by Survivor, same thing, upbeat rock songs that, also sound very soulful. And there was a lot of songs like this in the 80s and stuff. So I picked a lot of beats from there that are classics, and like I said, a lot of millennials say they love this song to work out to. And I was like, really? But you're only 21 years old, you weren't born until, the year 1995. And they're like, no, I listened to some of these like old school, disco and R&B and Motown songs of the late 70s, 80s. I mean, I even liked, Boys to Men. It's going down. Can you feel it? Boys to Men, BBC. It just BBD, the East Coast Family, and it just has this like beat to it that moves. And so you just want to get these songs where you're really moving in these songs, and you're feeling these songs, and you just got to really get into it. So I wanted to pick those, and then I wanted to pick some more known, and some of them go, back a long way into disco. I was trying to find a track for Lisa, because she had a great song that was great for working out. And when I was on, I was surprised when I was on one of the stations buying all my tracks. I actually didn't see it, so I have to get it somewhere else. But pump up the jam, pump it up, yo, pump it. It's just got the beat that gets you going. So I picked all these songs. I even threw in a couple of songs that were kind of soulful Latin based, because some people like Latin. I just kind of went all over the map, but they have to be soulful songs, and they're really inspiring. I was listening to my track on my own radio station. I was like, wow, I feel like working out, and so that's kind of covering the music aspect of it. So I started this, radio station. You go on live365.com, and in the search bar, you just put in Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. And that's going to be me. And I'm going to be, basically talking all day long on all my different shows and podcasts during the day. And then at night, you'll have this wonderful music that'll electrify you and pump you up and get you so excited. I mean, I'm getting excited just talking about it. I mean, it's just totally amazing. And I was listening to it. It was late. It was like midnight. And I was like, I feel like working out. This music's just getting to me, And it'll do that for you, because I know what works. Okay, when it comes to, let's get into it a little bit. When it comes to fitness, I know what works. But more than knowing what works, I know what doesn't work. And what I try to do with a lot of my workouts is I simplify it. I'm always telling people, believe it or not, to do less. They do too much. They do these 2-hour workouts, and then they wonder why. They work out for a month and then stop for a month and work out for a month. I'm like, just do 3 days a week for 45 minutes, and you want to hit like every muscle. As far as that goes, you're always better doing less and being consistent than doing more, and then yo-yoing and stopping and start. And people get busy. People have stressful lives, whether in the home or business, so you should have what I call your short workout. I have one. It's 15 minutes. That's it. I'm done in 15 minutes. And then I have a longer workout that's about 40 minutes. I don't like to go over 40 minutes for my workout. And, I'm a former amateur bodybuilder. I've worked out my whole life in fitness. I've done 2-3 hour workouts before. But I have found once I hit around 45 minutes, I start losing my zest. And once I start going over 45 minutes, it starts becoming more of a chore for me. You have to understand the way your brain works. You can't just work out. You have to listen to yourself. And there's days where I just don't feel good. I said, yeah, I'm doing my 15-minute workout this day, today. And it's a short, I hit every muscle, it's quick. And I do that because on the days you don't feel good, which is like what, every other day, where you just feel heavy and tired, you have to have, a workout that's, simplified. So at least you can go to the gym and move around a little bit. And it works, I'm telling you. Those days I don't feel good, let's say I'm working out 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I basically work out every day. But those days I don't, let's, say we're 6 days a week. Those days I don't feel good, I just do my 15-minute workout and I'm just like, yeah, got it in, good. And I just wasn't feeling up. I was feeling tired. Maybe I had a lot on my plate. Maybe I was too busy. And I just do that 15-minute workout. And then the next day I'm feeling a little better. Oh, I'll do my normal workout, 40 minutes. And I could do that 40 minutes in 30 minutes if I'm, really focused. So it could be like a 15-minute workout, a 30-minute workout when I really want to, which is even better. And I sometimes try to make that 45-minute or 30-minute workout because it's just better for me, and it might be better for you. And I don't spend a lot of time talking about myself, but it's just something that you might want to think about and keep things simplified. I mean, get your running in, get your weights in, cross train, get your bike in, maybe hit different machines, whether it's treadmill, bicycle, whatever the case may be. Some people take classes in martial arts, and some people swim. Swimming's great exercise. Just kind of mix it up and make it fun. Sometimes classes are good. I like classes. I teach them, but I also like going to them. Sometimes it's good just to take the day off and, one day a week have your yoga class. Just because it's good to stretch your body out, you don't want to just keep going at it. So that, as far as fitness, that's more or less how it goes. As far as nutrition, and this is all going to be on Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio, live365.com. I keep saying it because I really want people to tune in, because it is a one-stop shop for health, fitness, massage, motivation, living your dreams, sports commentary and analysis, and the most incredible music that will just blow your mind, just really get you excited to work out. And so we have, health and fitness I spoke about. As far as nutrition, you're better off eating 6 times a day versus 3 times a day. Never eat a big meal. I'm sure everyone is eating too much. It's something I see all the time. The portions in the United States are amazing. This, I did an experiment. I spoke about it in my last video, where I was about 15 pounds overweight. The holidays, and you're letting yourself go. And even the motivational speaker of motivational speakers, and the diet teacher, sometimes can eat too much chocolate and put on 15 pounds. It was there the holidays. And I said, you know what? I'm going to eat the same foods that I ate over the last 3 days, where I would eat 30 days where I ate 3 big meals. And I turned that same eating plan. I ate the exact same foods every single day that I was eating for 30 days, because I'm one of those people that I like the foods I like. So I have a balanced, different things, but I kind of eat almost like the same type of food. I like what I like. There's like 10 different, meals that I like, and I like to eat those 10 meals. A lot of times, unless it's a holiday and we're cooking for special people and stuff. I keep it simple in my life. So I basically had the same 3 meals a day that got me 15 pounds overweight, and I broke it down into 6 meals. The same amount of food, same calories, the same food, and I lost 15 pounds. Now you're going to ask how I did that, and I'm going to say to you, it's quite simple. I stopped eating 3 hours before I went to sleep. All the foods that were your so-called bad foods, whether they were desserts or breads or pastas or whatever, or heavy meats, all those foods I basically had earlier in the day. And all the healthier foods, whether it's the salads, greens, and cottage cheese and grain, whether it's oatmeal or anything like, those I kind of had towards the later part of the day or midday. And I stopped eating 3 or 4 hours before you go to sleep, because it takes that long for food to get through your system. And, believe it or not, I had 6 small meals. Basically, if you put 2 hands up and cup them, basically what could fit in those 2 hands. That's what I mean by a small meal. It may not look like a lot. Everyone's, hands are a little different sizes, but you know what I mean. Whatever could kind of fit in your 2 hands put together, cupped. And when you eat that way, you got a lot of time, and some people are bigger than others, so they require to eat more food. And I don't want anyone to pass out, so use your instincts. But you want to eat less, and what's going to happen is you're going to always say, "Oh, I'm hungry," but then you're going to realize a half an hour later you feel full because the body doesn't register to full till like 30 minutes after. It's just the way the body works. So a lot of times you're going to think, I need to eat more. I usually eat 2 to 3 times that, Dean, and I'm going to eat more. And you know what? You're going to find that you don't have to eat more because you're going to be full. You won't be full when you're eating, but you'll be full half an hour later. That's pretty much diet. Mix it up, get your fruits and vegetables, have it all over the place. The last video, I went deeply into it. I hope you go on Sports Fitness, Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio, and you listen to all my, they're all on there. I'm talking all day about diet, motivation, living your dreams. And, speaking about motivational speaking, living your dreams, I wrote a book called The Evolution of You. It talks about a human approach to life enhancement, very human, very humane, where I basically talk from the heart. And, I basically talk simply, I don't talk about goals, and I don't talk about pumping yourself up. I don't talk about, all these things that you might read, and some of them are very helpful. But I wrote a book because basically when I was younger, I had all these books on life enhancement, whatever, motivational speakers. And, I found the answers I was looking for, the answers inside myself that I wanted to unlock. Wasn't quite getting there, I just felt like I had, as said in Rocky, I still have something in the basement. I felt there was something in there I still needed to get. And the thing is, we all have those qualities. We all have treasures inside of us. I always laugh when people say, oh yeah, I know everything. I don't need any advice or motivation. Really? I'm a motivational speaker. Everyone could use inspiration, motivation. Nobody has it figured out. I learn from everyone, And one of the things I noticed, and I want to write a book on it, The Evolution of You, is because I wanted to write a book that basically taught people how to discover what's already there, what's inside them, how to unlock it, how to go about finding it, how to be comfortable not trying to pump yourself up or change your mood, but how to operate in a mood that maybe isn't great. Maybe you're just feeling heavy one day, or you got a lot in your mind, you're not feeling your best. How do you operate in that mood? And what you do is you have to accept your feelings, you have to accept your emotions, you have to accept all parts of you, the parts you like and the parts you don't like, and you have to understand that we are a vessel where we have high moods and low moods, and that could change 30 to 60 times a day, where you're up and you're down, you're up and you're down. Some people are like, I'm always up, I never get nervous. Give me a break. Okay, everyone has feelings of feeling great and feeling down and feeling up and feeling down, and you have to learn how to embrace every feeling. Say to yourself, I heard an actor once talking on a show, an interview show, and I won't mention the actor, but he's a very good actor, but in everything, he was talking, he's very famous, everyone knows him, but I'm not going to mention his name. And he said, I always ask myself, isn't that interesting about a part? Like, I was once doing a part on a show, and it's a great story. Once on a show, and he said that, it was my turn to speak, in the movie, and they said, roll them, or whatever they said, and the tapes were rolling, and, he tried to kind of do this part as kind of inquisitive, where he was like asking questions, and he's like, wow, my character wants to ask questions. Isn't that interesting? And the director's like asking him, like, well, why are you delivering your lines sort of like in question form? He said, my character wanted to say that they weren't written that way. They're kind of written more as statements. They want, and then, the director's like, oh, okay, we'll try it. And then there was another couple of takes later, and he said he felt stern. He felt like aggression. So then he started saying the lines in an aggressive tone, and the director's like, oh, cut. Well, first you're kind of going with this questioning thing, and I was sort of getting into that, but now you're kind of, changing into this like aggressive tone where you're almost saying it like aggressively at the person, like sternly. And I mean, that's just like two sides of the coin. He said, well, it's kind of funny. It's like my character wanted to be stern and aggressive. And so, as it goes along, he's going along, and he just, it's his turn to do another take, and the director says, whatever he says, roll them, and they start rolling tape, and the character, the actor basically says nothing. A couple of seconds go by and still says nothing. A couple of more seconds go by, still sitting. Now it's like almost a minute. Finally, the director says, cut, cut. What's going on? First you're doing the questioning, then you're doing the stern aggressive thing. And then all of a sudden I say, roll him, you don't say anything. And he looks at the director and he says, isn't that strange? My part, my character didn't feel like talking. Isn't that interesting? The director, at that point is going crazy. And, this was an interview in front of students that were trying to be actors. And, all of a sudden, the interview got a little serious. He said, I know everyone's laughing. It's a funny story. But, here's the point, is I always ask myself why I think I found success. I always ask myself, not a one-size-fits-all acting where I'm going to go in and say, oh, I'm going to do that part this way, I'm going to do that part that way. Instead, engulf yourself in the part, become the part. Okay, there's a chapter in my book. It's called "Don't Act the Part, Become the Part," and I probably got that idea from watching that interview. But that's besides the point, and I'll explain what that means. But what happens is, he got real serious, and the crowd got the crowd, the class, the school actually got real. It was actually inside the actor's studio, but it was the crowd got really serious, and he got serious, and he said, you have to go into a part, and you can't just say, oh, I'm going to handle it this way, and I have my acting ability, and I went to Stellar Adler and all these different, great acting schools. But you have to actually get into the role and become the character, and the character has to consume you and take your acting over, and the character has to lead you at times. You get that? And so what I'm saying is, you don't want to, and I wrote a book because I didn't really read enough books that told me that. And that's why I was probably so impressed with that interview by that actor, because that told me so much. And I based a whole book on the premise like that, reading level 10, most of the books on motivation, although they're helpful, they don't really teach you the most important thing is you don't want to change your moods. Okay, you don't want to snap out of your moods. And a lot of books on motivation say that. You want to learn to embrace your mood, and you're feeling down. Say, isn't that interesting? I'm not feeling very, confident today for some reason. And isn't that interesting? And just kind of embrace it. Or sometimes you're going to feel a little hyped up and strong. Wonder why I'm feeling a little hyped up and strong today. Just going to kind of go with that. Or some days you're going to feel confident and so up, and then some days you're not going to have confidence. What do you do then? You say, isn't that interesting? My character today doesn't have confidence. For some reason, I'm just sort of doubting myself. And just learn to embrace that and learn to be productive in that mood when you're not feeling confident, you're not feeling your best. And I know these things sound simple, but I spent many years of my life trying to not acknowledge that part of me. And I saw this great interview and it just clicked. And I said, yes, clicked. And everything I wrote, and I spent almost 10 years writing this book. I wanted to see if it was effective 10 years ago as it was today, and it is. And I wanted to, I just wanted to discover so much. I spent 10 years writing the book, discovering things about me, and it all was from the premise of finding all the answers out in you. And I spent the better part of, 10, 12 years, just doing all this analysis, saying, isn't that interesting? Wow, I just learned something else about myself, and how to produce in this mood, and how to act when you get into a different mood, and how to go here, and how to discover other parts of your personality, and open up other parts of your personality by being humble, and being, humble with yourself, and asking yourself questions. So I developed a book that basically develops a mirror, shines it on you in all these kind of different ways. By the end of the book, you have to face yourself, and mostly you accept yourself, and you find out everything that's truly special about you, and everything that's truly amazing about you. And once you do that, you find your dreams. I'm not saying you look for your dreams outside, you find them inside you. They're in there. You just have to unlock them. It's like a treasure chest opening. And so back to the reason why I created Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. Again, I want to have that motivation on a radio station, and it is on 10 radio stations, but it's all different who listens to iTunes? Who listens to Google Play Music? Who listens to Amazon Music? Who listens to iHeartRadio? It's all over the place. So I just said, this doesn't make sense to me. I'm a motivational speaker. What does a motivational speaker do? When a motivational speaker seems like he's all over the place, he becomes more efficient. I need to start my own radio station, internet radio station, where I, instead of scattering it all out over these things of other people who created radio stations, and I still have 10 podcasts that does that, and you can listen to them, I'm going to put it all in one place. I said to myself, what do I really know about starting a radio station? Never started one before. I don't need to know, because I'm going to ask myself questions. What does one do when they start a radio station? They get information, start going on YouTube videos, watching hundreds of videos, how to run an internet station, how to program an internet station, how to buy an internet station, how to, all these a radio station, and how to, how to run a radio station. And I spent the better part of 6 months just researching this information. I don't know how many thousands of videos I watched, but I started being humble, and I said, I have a good aptitude, I can figure this out. And I started figuring it out, and sure enough, I got the radio station, the internet radio station, Uptempo U, sports fitness radio, so USFR are the call letters of it. And I started it, and I learned how to program it, and I had to schedule everything correctly in a way that fit motivation in people's time slots, with the music at night and the talk show during the day, and dropping on my podcast in it. And I just figured it out, and I did it by asking myself all these questions, and those are the things I teach on the radio station, so you should tune in. It's so amazing. One-stop shop for health, fitness, nutrition. And then I talk about massage, and a lot of people go for massage, but they're like, what do I get? A deep tissue massage, or do I get what other massage do I get? Shiatsu? What's a shiatsu? What's a reflexology? And what does it do? And reflexology restores a lot of overall balance in the body, treats some specific conditions, and it's on the hands and feet, reflexology, just so you know. And it's done in a way where there are basically organs on the hands and feet that are synonymous with the organs all over your body. So there's certain pressure points that you hit on the hands and feet, and you could kind of work on those, even stomach, liver, gallbladder, on the hands and feet. There's a chart that shows which pressure points affect what. And sometimes when someone has a bad back or bad stomach and they can't handle massage, reflexology is great, because reflexology can come in. It's not intrusive. You don't kind of get into the back that can't handle it, and you handle it in the hands and feet, and it's an indirect way of curing things. And then people sometimes say, shiatsu, what's a shiatsu? It sounds Japanese, and it's just like, well, not really. You have meridian zones all over your body, going from your head all the way down. And thousands of years ago, certain cultures, Asian, Indian, they studied this, and they basically found out that there are certain pieces to your puddles and pieces to the puzzle and nerve endings throughout the body that basically connect the body, that the liver actually starts up near the chest and goes all the way down the leg. The gallbladder starts up, around the inside of the abdomen and head, and it goes all the way down the side of your leg. And there's certain pressure points, meridian zones, that you basically hit on, and you pressure, and by doing that you cure conditions in the stomach and back, and it's a little non-intrusive, and that's done. It's very energy-based, like polarity is very energy-based. There's a lot of slight shaking and hovering over certain parts of the body, and hold positions like craniosacral therapy, where that's a lot of stagnant position, where you're holding and cradling the head in the back, you're holding the front of the chest and the back of the back, a hand on top and bottom, the stomach, and the back of the lower back. And you're basically waiting for shifting, because there's a fluid that goes from the sacrum to the head called the cerebral spinal fluid that gets disrupted, and that's what craniosacral does. And it basically restores, just by getting that balance of circular motion from the cranial head back down to the sacrum. It restores that balance and then pushes balance throughout the body. Deep tissue massage, most of you are familiar with that. It's very physical with oils and stuff like that. Thai massage is also very physical, but it's done with your clothes on, and there's a lot of pressure points, a yin and a yang, where you have two pressures. And instead of like a Swedish massage where you're pushing on one part of the body, a lot of things in Thai is you're pushing and pulling, so you're squishing from two sides. and that's the yin and the yang. And whether it's the chest, sometimes people use their feet and arms, and you hold their arms, and you push, with the arm and pull with the other arm, or you're pulling the leg at the ankle while you're putting your heel into the back of someone's hamstring. There's a lot of pushing and pulling, and it's great. It's physical, but they all kind of stimulate different parts of the anatomy, and it's important. And I have, on, Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio, I have a video and podcast where I just talk about massage, and I just go into that, and I can't, go into everything here because I'm just pretty much talking about the radio station. And I finally have a place, a one-stop shop, where everyone can get everything to have the most incredible life and the highest well-being. And I talk about all these different, massage. I have a show where I just talk about massage and the types and which one does what to the blood and circulation and the venous return, lymphatic drainage, which, cuts down inflammation, and you have just all these things going on. So to make a long story short, I have a one-stop shop. It's called Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. Please listen. Please go on. You're going to be so excited just by the music alone at the bottom to work out. And these great shows on living your dreams and health and fitness and easy ways to work out and easy ways to lose weight, and what type of massage is best for you, and motivation and living your dreams and all these wonderful things. You go on live365.com, and you basically punch in Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio, and it's really fantastic. And I hope that you listen, and you're going to find it truly amazing. It's going to really transport your life. I'm Dean Curry, president and founder of the newly launched radio station, online free radio station called Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. Have a wonderful day, and have a great week and great year.